Those of you on YouTube missed my dance, but that's okay. That's not what we're about today. We are here to just celebrate life as it's unfolding, and so I'm going to share with all of us some announcements that are for things that are just coming up right now. And I know that those of you who are on YouTube will also see some different placards and different posters for a lot of the things that we're having, because we have a lot going on in our center, which is a joyous thing for us. So we have a divine dining event this afternoon. It starts at 1 o'clock. And so it is, I was part of the lottery that won, and so I'll be going to that. And I'm not sure why that it's still an announcement since it's closed, but it was the first thing. So let you know, it was very successful as a divine dining event. Reverend Valerie Reeves, who is here today, is also, yes, yay, isn't that cool? She's also going to be doing a workshop this coming Sunday. She's also speaking Sunday, but she's doing a workshop in the afternoon, and it's called Blueprinting Your Life. And I don't know what she's going to say in this Wednesday service, but she might talk about it. I'm just guessing, Reverend Valerie, just guessing. Now, what we also have today, after this service, is it'll be next week. It's in July. So on July that is coming up, we will have a labyrinth walk, and that's next Wednesday after the service on Wednesday. It's the first Wednesday of the month. Reverend Gregory is having a workshop this Sunday for our teens, and it's going to be called Owning Your Awesomeness. And so this is just for the teens, and I hope that if you have teens, want to encourage teens to come, this Sunday, July the 6th, is when you can do that. We have flyers for all of our events that are out on the table, and the flyers themselves have so much more detail than you get with anyone standing here. So if something even sounds interesting, just go out there and peruse. Now, we have holiday coming up. So our office will be closed July the 3rd, that's Thursday, and Friday, July the 4th. So we want everyone to have a great Independence Day, and I hope you very safely get to watch some wonderful fireworks. That's always fun out here in California. Now, we have coming up on Saturday, July the 12th, at 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we have the Arts and Crafts Expo. We're starting to have that regularly, and the number of booths appear to be growing. I thought so the last time I was there. They're delightful folks. Go say hello to them and take a look at what they're having. So that's July the 12th, and it starts at 11 a.m. Join us for the workshop entitled Enhancing Brain Health, Strategies and Resources for Optimal Cognitive Function. That is a long title. I'm going to share that with you again. Strategies and Resources for Optimal Cognitive Functioning. It's on Sunday, July the 13th. It's at 12:30, and it's brought to us by Bay City's Health District, and there is no cost. We have a big thank you for all of our volunteers. It doesn't matter how many times we say it. I hope it never gets old, because we really don't do church without volunteers, and we're not the only ones. So if you have two hands to put together, just say thank you to the volunteers. They're back in the back now as we are all speaking, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now, our speaker today will be Reverend Valerie Reeves, but before we get to that, and we acknowledge that Elise is not with us today. She's on vacation, but she is having a great time, so let's imagine her singing wonderful things. And I invite you to close your eyes, and if you choose to close, and just allow yourself to settle into this magnificent body that you wear in this life on this earth. It is a great day. It is an absolutely perfect day in the life of God. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this day that I am living and all of the wonderful things that are happening. And what I know is that in the unfolding of the sharing the words, the talk that unfolds today, in this time, on this place, is absolutely perfect in the mind of God, that there is a message in this that is perfect for everyone. That is why we're here, to receive those wonderful divine nuggets of wisdom that move through all of the airways and brainwaves, and they're always curated just for my mind and for every expression of God that is in this room and that is joining us online. That's the way it works. And I know that as we allow this to unfold with joy and expectation of delight, that is exactly what is happening. And I'm grateful to be a part of a much larger experience that includes this moment and the next moment and the next moment. So in gratitude, I simply release this word, knowing that in the mind of God, it is absolutely done. I agree and say, and so it is. And so it is. And so Miss Valerie Reeves has her own microphone, and so she rises.
I'm going to share, yes. Hello, good morning. It is still morning, right? Good morning. Best day ever, yes? Oh, what a beautiful day down here. I went down to say hello to the dolphins this morning. It's always beautiful to get down here to Redondo. So I am excited to be here with all of you. I think my talk title has changed several times, so I'm going to be talking about all one, which if you put the all one together, it does spell alone, and we are never alone because we're all one. Isn't that fun? We're all one. And I was thinking about the oneness and how we are all one and we're never alone unless we think we're alone. It's our thinking that makes everything so, right? So getting to that space of loving what is and knowing that we are never alone, we get to breathe in the fullness of life, come out and live out loud, which is actually my talk title for Sunday, because we just want to come and play out loud and tune into that inner child within us so that we can play and remember the simplicity of life, because things can get a little scary. There's a lot of stuff going on out there, not in here, but out there. And so I was reaching for more information because I think in these tumultuous times of life that people will step into fear. And I have to have a conversation with my neighbor every time we get in a conversation about, I can't go into that realm of conversation because she gets really panicked about stuff, and you can feel her fear and you can see it. And it's like, take a breath. And let's talk about something you really love. Let's talk about your art. Let's talk about something good. Because if I go into a conversation that makes me fearful, it's not serving anyone. And it's definitely not serving my body, because if we get into fear, that is that we hold our breath and then we're at a dis-ease in our body. And so we want to be at ease and peace and love and harmony with our body. So I did a little research, and I found that in the Bible, it says, be not afraid, in different little versions, but basically saying, be not afraid 365 times. 365 times in the Bible, it's saying, don't be afraid. Spirit is with us always. And so if we're not being afraid, it's like when I step into fear, then I've stepped away from Spirit, and I've stepped away from the moment. I'm either projecting forward or thinking backward. So if I get right here in this moment and remember to be right here. I know in a lot of the schools they're teaching mindfulness, where it's like, can I just breathe and be aware of my breath? Right here, and I have all the breath I need, and then I can just settle into right here, right now. Everything is all well. And we may project and look at other people and what's going on in their lives and across the world, and knowing that if I can just be at that place of peace, love, and harmony, that I'm sending that ripple of peace, love, and harmony everywhere. So we just say yes, yes to the goodness. And then we step into that space of having fun and being mindful and sending love, because the more we can do that, we keep sending that ripple. As Gandhi says, be the peace that you want to see in the world. So let me be that peace in every moment. And here's what I do know, especially because it's our philosophy, is that we are creating our own life. And maybe other people have created something different. They've come into this life experience for something different. And I can either jump into their stuff in my mind, or I can step back and say, Spirit, what is mine to do? Let me vision that peace, that love, that harmony. Let me embody it. And let me tune into what is mine to do. Do I take a stand? Do I take a walk? Do I send something? What is mine to do in this moment? And I was really thinking about that yesterday. I took my 2 granddaughters. One is 6 and one is 8. I took them to the movie Elio. And we were talking about how we just love to go to the movie because you got the popcorn there and it's just so much fun. And they had their little purses with little snacks and stuff in there. And so we were at the theater, and I didn't realize it was a 3D. So they got the little glasses on. We've got the lean back seats, and we're sitting there. And about 5 minutes into the movie, the youngest one, Nova, turns to me and said, I don't like this movie. Can we go? I'm like, everything that it took us to get there, I said, remember, we're just here for the popcorn. So just eat the popcorn and let's just enjoy. Okay. So, because she was sitting there, can we go? It was just like that. And I thought, I am not going to argue with a 6-year-old. Can we go? It's like, no, take a breath. We're just here for the popcorn. And I was thinking about life. Because sometimes, we come out onto this planet and we're playing the game of life. And sometimes it's like, can we just go? This isn't fun anymore, right? But it's like, well, we're just here for the popcorn. We're here for the experience. We're here for the joy. So how can I have more joy in my life? And as long as I'm here, there is something for me to do. So what is mine to do? And let me tune into that every single day. Somebody was asking if I'd always lived so far away from here. And I said, no, actually. Before I came here, I was living in Grants Pass, Oregon. During the pandemic, I've moved a lot, but during the pandemic, I'm like, I gotta work. I was working for a seminar company before COVID hit, where I would just travel and talk. Well, as soon as that hit, we're not traveling and we're not talking anymore. So I was putting my resume out to different places. And I thought, well, I'll throw one to Grants Pass, Oregon, because that's where my youngest son is at. And the company called. We did a quick interview, and she's like, yeah, we'd like you to start. Could you start in a couple weeks? I'm like, yeah, best day ever, okay. So I loaded up all my stuff in the car and put stuff in storage because they'd had a lot of fires in Oregon. And so when I called one of the realtors, they said, there are no places to rent up here because so many houses have burned down, and so yeah, good luck. And so I'm thinking, well, I'm probably going to get a hotel for a while. When I'm on my way up there, I'm knowing there's always a space for me. And a realtor called and said, we had 4 people that applied for this, but they didn't qualify, but you do qualify if you can be here tomorrow. I'm like, I'm on my way. And so I had my other son, who was on COVID vacation, grab a car, bring all my stuff up, and then flew him home. So it all works out. But here I was in Grants Pass, Oregon, and I was there for about 2.5 years. And I got a call from Reverend Catherine McKinney, and that's when Dr. Moira was sick. And she said, I need you to come here. I felt it with every cell in my body. This is mine to do. And I am so happy when Spirit speaks so clearly that you got that call and you know that that is yours to do. So it's like, okay, I loaded up and headed back down here. And so I was living here for a few years, and then my daughter kept saying, come back up to Apple Valley. So once we knew that we had somebody in place for here, then I went there because it's a call. You know how you know that that's mine to do? And then maybe that's not mine to do. I knew that that was mine to do, was to go back up there to be closer to my granddaughters, which has been a fun experience. And so when we tune into that inner knower that's guiding and directing, and we just say, yes, Spirit, guide and direct me. And as much as I'd love to do that, which would have been being here full time, it's like, it's not mine to do, and I wasn't getting the call. So it's like, okay, I am knowing that the call came the other direction. So when we tune into that inner knower, we know what is ours to do. I have, and if we don't know what is ours to do, then we need to sit quieter. I know a great master said, if you don't have 12 minutes to meditate, then you need to take 2 hours. right? Because we all have at least 12 minutes in our day to sit and meditate. And I know if I don't sit and meditate in the morning before I do everything else, that things don't go as synchronistic. So taking that quiet time to meditate, and then I usually do a spiritual mind treatment. I even when I'm laying in bed, I do my little meditation, and I do the 5 steps the way we would teach the kids. It's like there's only one. I know that source, that energy flows through me. I know all things are possible. I give thanks and I release, which is our 5 steps of our affirmative prayer. Ernest Holmes says this: the great lesson in life is to learn to trust life. There is a power greater than we are that knows the way, and we must learn to trust it and go with it. We must learn to trust it and go with it, which means tuning in and having the courage to say, I trust, and I'm just going to let go of my ego that says, go this way and do this. I'm going to trust that Spirit's guiding me this way. Let me trust it. Have you ever had one of those intuitive hits that said, go this way, and then you didn't? And then things didn't go right? It's like, if I'd have listened to my intuition. So we get the opportunity to trust our intuition and know that we are not alone, that Spirit is guiding and directing us as we just say yes to the goodness, yes to life. And making sure that we're being aware of the stories that we're telling ourselves. There was a friend that was walking by a house, and there was a dog laying on the porch that was just whining and crying. And she asked, why is your dog whining and crying? And the gentleman said, because it's laying on a nail. Well, why doesn't it get off? It doesn't hurt bad enough. Sometimes things only hurt bad enough to whine and complain about it, but not enough to do anything about it. That we just whine and complain, things aren't working out, or life isn't what I want it to be. And it's really up to us. If it is to be, it's up to me. So what can I do to move forward? This is part of the reason I'm doing the workshop, Blueprinting Your Life. I did it for myself, because it's like I've been in this philosophy for so long, but I know that if we want to get where we want to be, that we really have to have concrete things that we're doing. We got to create the blueprint to get there. And then Spirit will get us there the easiest, softest way it can, based on all the layers that we have and all the blocks that we have and maybe some of the unworthiness that we have. But it's going to get us there. And yet I've got to know the direction that I want to start going. It's like this podium here. Before it was built, it was a blueprint. They mapped it out. They didn't just, let's try and make this work. I'm sure there was a lot of measuring, which is not something I would do. Measuring and making sure that everything is fitting just right. It's the same thing with our life. It's like, okay, if I say I want to be here, but I just keep doing all of this, and I don't make sure that I'm taking my time to visualize it, verbalize it, and feelingly believe it every single day, it's going to be more of a challenge to get there. I know I've referenced before that most of my life I was a little boat out on the ocean with the waves just throwing me here and there, and I forgot to chart a course. I don't know about anyone else if they did that or not, but chart that course, which is part of the blueprinting of your life. It's like, what direction do you want to go? I know some of you took Reverend Kathy's class on the shoebox, what's in your shoebox. I've talked to her. We've talked about doing that kind of thing up there. I'm calling it designing your legacy, because what do you want said about you at the end of your life? And if you want this said, but you're not living up to that, it's like, what is mine to do? And I know for me, it's like, I'm making sure I have everything designed out so everything is said just the way I want it to be done, even though I'll be gone. Here's what I want to be known for. And that means that I want to lift myself up to the next level. It's like, what vibration, what things am I doing in my life to make sure that I'm leaving a great legacy? And loving ourselves through the process. It's like, okay, we are playing out loud. And I know we're not just here for the popcorn, but embracing and enjoying every part of it, of life. And being aware of what we're telling ourselves. I used to be, it's so funny because my sister and I talk about this a lot. I used to be very shy when I was little, and she's like, me too. Like, you are loud. You have never been shy. She's like, no, I used to be shy too. But at home, in our comfort space, you'd be loud and crazy and kids and sibling rivalry and whatever it was that we did. although I feel like I never fought with anyone. So, but that's my story, so I'm going to stick to that. Making sure that we are just loving and embracing ourselves, and how did we see ourselves when we were little, and what story were we telling ourselves every single day? So her story was that she was very shy. I was very shy. I had to push myself out of my comfort zone, and I feel like it wasn't until I had kids that the mama bear came out, and I had to be a better example. Because what I learned is that kids only learn 3 ways. 1, by example. 2, by example. 3, by example. And I was thinking about that, because kids never do what we tell them to do. They just do what we do. They learn by example. And I was thinking about that with my inner child. It's like, does my inner child learn by example? Maybe sometimes I have to push myself through a doorway that I wasn't really prepared to go through, where I have to be more than I thought I had to be. Byron Katie says this in her book, Who Would You Be Without Your Story? It's not the problem that causes our suffering, it's our thinking about the problem. It's not the problem that causes the problem, because they do say everything is neutral. It's our thought about it that makes it so. It's like the farmer who had just bought a horse, and the neighbor said, "Oh, that's so great, you got a horse." And he's like, "It's neither good nor bad, it just is." And then the son started riding the horse, and he's like, "Oh, it's so great that your son can ride a horse." "Yeah, it's neither good nor bad, it just is." And then the army was recruiting, and his son was going to be recruited for the army to go to war. And the neighbor said, "Oh my gosh, that's so bad that your son is going to have to go to war." And he said, "It's neither good nor bad, it just is." And then his son fell off the horse and broke his leg. And the neighbor said, "Oh my gosh, that's so bad, but it's so good because now he doesn't have to go to war." And the neighbor said, "It's neither good nor bad, it just is." It's our thinking about it that makes it so. So it's a neutral, everything being neutral, no good, no bad, just is. And so looking at how am I reacting or responding to things, let me make sure that I'm in that neutral space and I'm being present to the situation, not emotionally reactive, staying centered. Because have you ever been around somebody who's just in a lot of fear or a lot of excitement, and it's really easy to get into their excitement or to get into their fear? It's like, let me stay emotionally neutral and be present to that. I can still tune into that inner knower. Byron Katie in her book asks the 4 questions. When you're telling a story, is it true? Is it really true? How does that thought make you feel? And who would you be without that story? Because a lot of times people will drag around their story of, "Oh, I'm all alone." Is it true? Yes. Is it really true? Well, not really, because there are people and spirit is always here. How does that thought make you feel? Sad? Alone? Who would you be without that story? What if I knew that the universe is always conspiring for my highest and best? What if I knew that spirit is always with me, and those family and friends and teachers that have gone before me are still around cheering me on? I just need to listen and remember that they love me and that they're cheering me forward. I was looking at some of the things about connection and having the courage to connect. There are people, not me, but there are people that have been married for many, many, many years. 50 years? You two have been married at least 50 plus? Yeah. Good for you. That takes courage. Yay. And even if someone's spouse has gone on before them, it's like there's still that energy around. My aunt tells me this all the time after my uncle made his transition, that the energy is still around. And yet feeling that love and being vulnerable enough to say, I have the courage to just be who I am. I have the courage to love you through everything, and I have the courage to have conversations when life gets messy. Now, I've been married twice. The first one was 6 months, so it doesn't really count. So I only never really talk about that one. The second one, I had my 4 kids, my 3 boys and 1 girl with. And I feel like we came together to have 4 wonderful children. And they are who they are because of their father and because of their mother. And so knowing that it was divinely blessed in that time, and there are times when you know, this isn't really just going to work out. I think there's a depth that some of us want to be able to get to, and maybe in situations we can't, but there's a part of us that just keeps going and growing. And forgiving ourselves for anything of the past, not holding on to a story that it's my fault or that person's fault or anyone's fault. It's no one's fault. It's no good or bad. It just is. So forgiving ourselves as we move forward. Ernest Holmes says this, to learn how to think is to learn how to live, for our thoughts go before us and create the world. So what if every day I had thoughts that the red carpet of life was rolled out for me, that life was good and it was just guiding and directing me all the time to a space of love, peace, and harmony, that I embody it and that I'm surrounded by it, that everywhere I go there's nothing but loving people? Wouldn't that be a better story to tell? That all my bags are packed and anywhere I go, I'm surrounded by love and peace and harmony. So let's tell that story to ourselves. Let's make sure that we are blessing ourselves every day. In fact, I have a little blessing on here because, just coming out into the world and playing out loud means that we want to make sure that our roads are blessed. So knowing that we see the divine in each other, even if we don't understand another, we see the divine. I know the truth about you even when you forget it. I know the divine about you. I may not always agree, but I will always respect the light that lives in you. If that was something we could say to everyone, because we may have people that we disagree with in life, but we can still love them. We can still see the light in them while we're seeing the light in ourselves and reminding ourselves to see the light in ourselves. When we get up in the morning, seeing ourselves in the mirror, tuning in, because sometimes we're just going through the motions of getting ready and then out the door. It's like if you had that conversation with yourself that I love you, I respect you, and I'm going to follow your guidance of that inner spirit that's guiding and directing. So let's take all of this beautiful energy, partly because they've hit the lights a couple times for me, so let's take all of this wonderful energy and go inside our heart of hearts for just a moment as we just breathe in the fullness of life. Just letting go, letting go, letting go of any of those thoughts that do not serve us, knowing that we are here, right now, on this thing called life. That there is one mind, one power, one infinite intelligence that flows through every cell in our bodies, that we showed up on this planet for a reason, that we are here to play out loud, we are here to live out loud, we are here to be all that we can be. As I speak my word and claim for each and every one of us, that we see the divinity of the I am, that we are beautifully, brilliantly. When we look in the mirror, when we pass a window and see our reflection, it is the reflection of love, of that individualized creative expression that you are. That we know that the road is easy and soft and gentle from this point forward because we state it, so we create it. That we are mindful about our thoughts because they go before us. And as our thoughts go before us, we just say, yes, yes, yes to the goodness. I deserve it. I'm worthy. I love it. And in great gratitude, I just release it into the universal action of the law, knowing all is well. And so it is. So it is. All right. Now, at this time, Elise would be singing. I was thinking of the first workshop I ever did. I want to say I made my sister, but I asked my sister, and she joyously did. I had her come down the aisle singing It's Possible, the song from Cinderella. It's possible for a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carriage. It's possible. Things are happening every day, and it's possible. So I know that we have the beautiful Ruth who is going to help us with our offering. It is that time for giving our gifts and tithes. If you're watching online or even here, you can text a donation to the center. You can go to our website. You can do it online. You can also do it live and in person because all of our gifts support the center. And this is where we get to come to remind ourselves of the divinity that we are. Because I don't know about any of you, but when I get out in the world, sometimes I forget. So when I get to come and see the face of love, which is right here with everyone, then I am filled. And it's like I love to have the space of like-minded people being able to come together. So let's say our giving affirmation all together. It's happening. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. I said I need to have the same giving affirmation up in Apple Valley as we have here, so I will commit it to memory because we say words just a little bit different. So I'm going to switch ours up there just so I can commit this one to memory because I like this one better. So it's really good. Knowing, of course, that as we give, we absolutely do receive. And I love that reciprocity in life, that I trust the universe, knowing that whatever goes out comes back fully manifested. And so now I think we're going to have questions and answers. Okay, we do have one back there. Questions and answers. The universe is going to answer us.
You sparked my curiosity. How do you do it in Apple Valley, the divine love? What's the difference? I'm a language person.
Okay.
I was an English major.
Yeah, I don't have it memorized, but we talk about, I support the vision of the center and some different things like that. And I'm like, does everybody even know the vision of the center? I don't know if they do. So to say that we're supporting the vision, it's like, do we know the vision?
I'm into linguistics and dialects and colloquialisms. It's just all very, very interesting what differs from center to center. Thank you for your story.
Absolutely.
I really am so happy that you have come into this center. And when you came originally, it was just, we really did need you, and I think I told you that at the time too. So thank you, and I'm glad you're doing so well.
Yeah, divine timing, all is well, and knowing that wonderful things are happening. I have to tell you, I had taken TikTok off my phone, but then Grant shared something with me, and it was TikTok, so I had to get on TikTok, and I pulled it up this morning, and it said the 15 ugliest areas in California, and I think Apple Valley was number 12. I'm like, what? Back in the day, Apple Valley used to actually have apples, but then the water rights changed and they blocked off some of the water, so they don't grow apples up there anymore, so it's mostly desert land. And my son-in-law is the CHP officer who flies helicopters up there. So he does a lot of rescue missions to people that think they can climb a mountain out in the desert and up. And he's got Big Bear. He's got all of San Bernardino County, so it goes all the way to the border of Nevada until way down into San Bernardino. But yeah, we were number 12, so we got that going. I think number 1 was Hemet, California. Oh, sorry, I haven't been there, but it was interesting. It's like, who comes up with this stuff? But everything's as beautiful as you would like it to be, so it's all good. David.
I love that. It's possible. That's great. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Healing blessings to my cousin Lee. And she's one of 3 triplets. So for her sisters as well. Wow. And her Aunt Evelyn, who's their grandmother.
Okay.
Just healing and love to them.
I will keep holding that in mind and knowing that there's absolute healing going. That there's actually, and Ernest Holmes used to say, it's not really a healing, it's a revealing of the wholeness. So I know the wholeness is revealed in each and every one of us, and that we just see that in Lee and her triplet. Wow. Could you imagine being a triplet? It's like, yes, we're so close. So knowing healing all the way around there, and I'll include that in the final prayer for sure, but holding that in mind. Yeah.
Reverend Valerie, I just want to thank you for the immense trip that you make to join us. That is such a gift and easy for us to say, oh, that's nice that Valerie's here. We love her. But, oh, my God, what a thing you do to be here. Thank you so much. It's amazing. And that you even leave early enough so you can go enjoy seeing the dolphins. I mean, that is so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved your talk. And one thing that stands out to me is you're saying, is what is mine to do? I really like that phrase. I feel like I'm at a place right now where that question is very important. Mm-hmm. And I'm noticing that I feel I'm just almost being bombarded with downloads, you know, oh, wow, look at that, and look at that, and look at that, and what is this all telling me? But it's definitely telling me something. So I'm just saying, well, what is mine to do? Just let me know. but I love that phrase. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and part of that is from the visioning, which I know Michael Beckwith really honed in on. What is Spirit's highest vision for me? What is mine to do? What is mine to release? What is mine to embrace? And anything else I need to know. So we might do a little bit of that on our blueprinting if you come to the workshop. So yeah, keeping our vision in front of us. Yes. Hi.
Thank you so very much.
That's
Wonderful,
all right.
wonderful. You left me a number of things. I have a relative on the East Coast. She lost a son due to a home fire, but it was an education on lithium batteries to be very aware that if you ever experience that, go the opposite direction. You don't want to be around it. It'll kill you. And he unfortunately tried to go the opposite way, and he ended up, so he passed away. But they're trying to work their way through it. They lost their home in the process. So just be cautious of these cell phones and lithium batteries. But thank you again. Wonderful message, deep things, and you gave me a number of pointers to work with my family. Thank you.
Thank you. Surrounding that all in love and light, because it can, we go through traumatic things sometimes in life. I don't know if anybody else has watched the show Shrinking. It's on Apple TV. It's worth just getting an Apple TV just to watch it. It's Shrinking. It's such a great thing with Harrison Ford in there. And he says, put on some sad music and let yourself just cry for 15 minutes every day because the young girl has lost her mother. And give yourself that just to get it out. I'm like, well, that's a good idea. Let me put on some sad music and just cry for 15 minutes and then step away from it and now step into another picture. But sometimes we have stuff going on and we just get through the emotion and acknowledge the emotion where we're not doing the spiritual bypass, where we're not just saying everything's okay, and yet everything is okay regardless of anything going on, knowing that life is eternal and that our loved ones continue on even if they're not right here on this planet, that life is eternal, continues on. And we may feel that love for them very much in their passing, and yet still allow ourselves to carry on with life. Yeah. Because I know when I make my transition, I would want my kids to keep playing out loud and have fun and do all that they can do. And I know that all of my loved ones would want the same for me, those that have gone on before me. So knowing that there's a lot of great lessons that we get to learn in life. And that we don't stay stuck in stuff, because it can really be easy to stay stuck in grief or to stay stuck in a story that isn't working anymore. And so continuing to, I feel like we have to keep cleansing ourselves of the old stories, because some of the stories go deep. And it's like, okay, I've cleared that story up to one level, and now I go to a deeper level and a deeper level, and keep those visions of the direction we really want to go, charting our course, making sure that we are blueprinting our life, or at least having the vision of the direction that we're going. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Hi, I'm sorry for your sadness. This is just a silly story, but I just want to throw it in. I was minding my own business, getting dressed to come here, and the phone rang. And I wasn't going to answer it because I was running a little bit late, but I answered it. It was my neighbor. She goes, "What size shoe do you wear?" I go, "Well, sometimes an 8.5, sometimes a 9, sometimes 9.5. You never know with shoes. I always have to try it on," I told her. She goes, "Well, I got a pair of shoes I ordered a pair and they came in the mail and they don't fit me." And I go, "I'll be right over. You're always willing to try a pair of shoes, right?" Right. And I went over there and they fit me perfectly. Perfectly. And I thought, this is weird. I love it, but it's weird. And you just never know what's going to come your way. You just never. And I'm talking about a pair of shoes, but I'm meaning other treasures in our life. So anyways, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it all comes from Cinderella. So Cinderella, the shoe fit, which is right, which is where the song "It's Possible" comes from. My sister and I used to get so excited because remember back in the day when we didn't have like all these different channels and you had to turn to a different channel. We only had like the 2 or 3. And once a year, Cinderella would come on, and we were so excited. It was like the best ever. And then when we go back and watch it, it's like, oh, that's just like backdrops. And it's, it's really interesting because Leslie Warren was Cinderella, and we just, the whole world was all around the whole Cinderella thing. So I'm glad the shoe fit. Yeah. Yes. Anyone else? Yes. You get to run. Getting Vincent's workout today. Great.
This just reminded me that we don't often hear reports when people, I'm not going to say pray, to me that's a different word, but when we put out the thought of an expectation, we never seem to report back on success. So I had a rather funny one. It didn't sound funny because it was at the dentist, and my dentist had to spend 4 hours instead of the 3 she thought, working on my crowns. And she had to, at one point for 5 minutes, stand behind me and lean down because I have a small child-sized mouth. It took forever. It was a big deal. But I had worked on this ahead of time here, and nothing ever hurt. Not one thing ever hurt. You think your jaw joint held open for 4 hours?
Wow.
Nothing. And I went, thank you, thank you.
Yay. Excellent. Manifestations. Yes. Yes. No, it's so great. And I am knowing that when we do prayer requests, that everything just gets handled, and it does. And, you know, they say pray without ceasing, and it's like, okay, we're just in that walking space of knowing. Because to me, a prayer is just already knowing that it's already done and complete. All right. So let's take all of this and again go into our heart of hearts as we just go to that knowing space inside of ourselves, knowing that there is one mind, one power, one infinite intelligence. Knowing that the intelligence that aligns the stars, the planets, and keeps the oceans flowing is right where we are. We are not a drop of water in the ocean. We are the ocean in a drop of water. And we just say yes, yes, yes to the goodness as I speak my word and claim that everything is in divine order. Knowing that there is a revealing of the wholeness for our family, our friends. Knowing that through any of our emotions that we celebrate the emotion and we move through it to the other side, knowing that life is good. That we are here for more than the popcorn. We are here for the show. We are here for the play. We are here to play out loud. And in great, great gratitude, knowing that the red carpet of life walks forward or rolls out forward for each and every person here. And on this red carpet, there is love, there is light, there is healing, there is that revealing of wholeness. There is prosperity, and there is health and harmony and peace. That we just roll it out to the world. As we just say yes, 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 in the awesomeness of the one that we are. In gratitude, I just release my word knowing all is well. And so it is. Namaste. Have the best day ever. I do want to say one more thing, because I really get the gift of all of you, because I get so much love when I come down here that it's like, how could I not come down here? And it's a beautiful journey. I get to listen to books on Audible that I haven't listened to, or I get to re-listen to or add more to it. So it's always a beautiful journey, because life is our journey, and let's make it fun. So it is. Get out there, have the best day ever. Thank you. Yes. Yes.